Welcome to the Oss-So Crazy podcast, brought to you by Ranked Soap Company. Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Oss-So Crazy podcast. Today we have our guests, Mike Anderson and his daughter, Megan. Mike Anderson, if you don't know, is a BJJ photographer and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt that trains up in 360 BJJ with Scott Houston.
And Megan Anderson is his daughter. Okay, wait.
Whoa!
All right, so she was actually working this weekend at the Chicago Open, so if you were there, you probably heard her voice. She was announcing names and taking podium pictures.
If you listened to our last episode, that podcast was definitely rated R or X because of Danya Seaver. But today we...
Was Alex with her?
Yeah.
Alex was with her. But now we got to tone it down. How old are you, Megan?
I'm turning 12.
You're turning 12, yeah. So we're not even at PG-13 this time. So this one's going to be kid-friendly unless Mike Anderson's going to
Open up the floodgates.
All right, so if you guys haven't seen Mike Anderson's photos before, do yourself a favor and follow him on social media because these pictures are amazing. And
They really are.
yeah. But we're actually going to open up with Megan today. I have the most important question for Megan. So Megan, before we get into any of the photography talk, what I want to ask you is, what's the most embarrassing thing your dad has ever done?
Hitting the hard question.
Like, what kind of embarrassing things?
I don't know. I guess what has he done that's embarrassing to you, and what has he done that's embarrassing that you laugh at him for?
Farting.
I blame that on the protein powder.
Now, you mean like while taking pictures or
Anywhere.
anywhere? Just
All the
Oh,
time.
man, give me a break. We're talking about home life here, guys.
well, everyone farts. There's that.
It's only natural.
Just don't talk about it. It's like my father.
Mm-hmm.
He's old school.
Yeah.
And these are topics you just don't discuss. Even the word fart to my father is considered almost like a swear word.
Oh, really?
Wow.
You say pass gas.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's very...
Do you flatulate?
Actually, yes, that's the medical term, right?
Flatulence. I don't know if
Yes.
flatulate is a word.
I wonder.
It is now.
We have to look it up afterwards or else we'll sound really dumb.
Flatulated. I'm just going to start saying that.
We should. You know what?
We're in
Coin
a
our
day
own
and age
terms.
where we're creating new words all the time.
Right.
And the actual dictionary is actually adopting some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And I have a problem with that. I mean, you need to stay true
Yeah.
to the, I don't want to say English language, but all languages have their purity
Right.
about them. And I think we're kind of like, there are some unique new words that
Yeah.
have come out. And I think it cuts to the chase as to what they mean. And I like that. But some are just getting a little too...
yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a progression and a regression with it. You know, like for example, you know the word momentarily, you know, was supposed to mean like for a moment, but everyone uses it as in a moment. Like we'll be like taking off momentarily. That would literally mean you take off and you'd like the plane would just fall right back down, you know.
Oh,
and
I didn't even realize that.
So that's like that I think in that sense it's kind of a like regression because like you have you're trying to get the language to evolve by
Yes.
and like
It
adapt.
has to evolve.
Yeah, it has to evolve. But then when it evolves in a dumb way, I guess
Right,
it's
we're getting
regression.
lazy.
Yeah.
It's like we don't want to take the time to properly phrase sentences. And, you know, some people put that on to a culture, you know, but I think some people just don't want to take the time to really explain their sentences.
Mm-hmm.
But we're all in a hurry, so
Yeah.
like that's why like contractions came about. Like I
Right.
cannot do this. No, just say can't.
Yeah.
So I appreciate those little shortcut words. You know,
Yeah.
and some of them actually are quite funny. These new words that are coming out.
Yeah.
You know, and
give some examples.
I'm trying to like, I'm pushing 50 years old now.
You look very young
Well, thank you.
and handsome.
Wow.
I think my
He's very red right now. He's blushing.
I just got done. My pre-workout's kicking it. So.
Yeah, okay.
That's it.
Out before this.
Hopefully it's not the protein powder, or else we'll start hearing those farts, right?
Good Lord, Mike. No, I just I don't know, about 15 years ago, vocabulary became something very important to me. It's when I started my own company way long ago, when I had to start getting up and do like some public speaking things, and I realized if anyone's going to take me seriously, I need to articulate my words or speak more intelligently, because I'm spanning a huge age range of audience, and that's why I really started to focus on my ability to talk in an eloquent kind of way. At the same time, you have to know how to blend into different crowds. So, and I have a huge amount of friends that are of all different cultures. So you have to know how to blend in a little bit, especially when my wife isn't around. I get to like maybe drop the, you know what, once in a while. I know Megan's here, and I do. It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially at jiu-jitsu schools, you get people training hard and they're more relaxed in how they talk. But
Yeah, for sure.
But I do try really hard to speak in an upstanding way. But there are times where you have to mix up a little bit. It just enhances the conversation, makes it more colorful, you know?
Yeah, that's sometimes like maybe if, you know, you use too many like big vocabulary words and like the people, they're not even going to know what you're talking about. They're just going to be like, yeah, okay. It just cuts the conversation.
And they think it elevates. You're trying to elevate yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
It's pretentious.
Hello, Governor. You know,
Right.
Just give me a break.
Hold my pinky up in the air and just be pretentious.
Out of tea.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to be relaxed.
Yeah.
But definitely having a good vocabulary, you know, can come in handy.
Yes.
Kind of like your new catchphrase, right?
Yeah, what the poha?
Excuse me? And you have to know when to turn it off. Like, after I come home from jiu-jitsu, I'm back in my own home. I cannot be talking like that.
Right.
Because my wife will be like, hello? I'm like, I'm sorry, honey. I didn't mean to say that. You know? But she's been more relaxed about it lately because she knows it's just, I'm just being myself. And that's what life is about, being you.
Yeah.
Authentic.
All the time.
So you hear that? Mike Anderson, the authentic photographer.
Keeping it real.
We interrupt this program to give you a quick announcement. Whether you're coming back from the gym or taking a walk in the park, you will be followed by trillions upon trillions of viruses, bacteria, and fungi. And there is no escaping their wrath. Unless, of course, you buy Ranked Soap, now available in the kids' belt colors. Also, look out for the new Oss-So Crazy podcast mugs, coming soon. All right, so Mike, have you always been a photographer, or is it something you started sort of later in life, I guess? So what was your story with photography?
Well, all the pros I've ever talked to, they say almost all the best photographers today are ones that actually found it later in life. Because you can't appreciate photography, in my opinion, until you've been through some crap, bad times, losing somebody, or just life experience where you can actually understand a tender moment that's happening, or something that's very tragic. Because younger eyes just don't always see that kind of stuff. So, you know, that's why at tournaments and such like that, or just walking the streets of New York, you know, those types of street photographers, and they'll see a moment, they kind of know what's happening. They can tell when a couple's breaking up or is about to propose, or talking about something very deep and dear to them. And they can spot that, and they'll get in their little corner and creep up and get that shot, you know, just catching everyday life. And this is actually something my father's always been really good at, and I think he passed that gene down to me, that empathy gene. You know, I think the words sympathy is when you've been through it yourself, and then you can relate to someone. But I think empathy is you haven't been through it yourself, but you're doing your best to put yourself in the shoes of that person at the moment, and you can actually feel what they're feeling. And at jiu-jitsu tournaments, it's huge.
That is huge. Yeah.
When someone experiences like a terrible loss and they go off the mat and they're sitting next to you and they're just looking down, and you want to talk to them so badly,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just not the time to say anything. But you
Right.
can look at them and go, I understand,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sorry for your loss. But I said, but I always tell them this. I said, you know, you're better because of this moment.
Yeah.
I said, you're never going to forget this moment and why you lost. And now you're going to go home and you're going to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is not going to happen next time. And they look at me and they're like, yeah, you're right. This is not a bad moment.
I think that's great advice.
Yeah. And now that I'm competing now,
Mm-hmm.
and see, not all photographers compete.
Yeah.
And I think a true jiu-jitsu photographer, don't yell at me, everybody, for this, has to compete. They have
Mike
to
blew
know.
away the competition.
Well, you know who's competing now is Mike Columbus.
Yeah.
Okay.
That guy,
He's
he just got
working
his
out.
body
Yeah.
all, you know. And Mike, if you're listening, you are my hero. You know, he's a single father with this adorable son named Nicky, and who somehow makes time for his boy, yet has the ability to shoot fight to win and IBJJF year round and not fall apart. And I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
He is my hero.
He's
Mike,
pretty crazy.
you hear me now? So
That's awesome.
he's my inspiration, you know.
Is he okay?
Yeah, and speaking of people who got me into this, she may not even know, but Erin Hurley,
Oh, okay.
she used to shoot for Gracie Meg
Okay.
when she was with Janny at the time.
Uh-huh.
And I texted her many years ago and asked her what equipment she was using and everything, and she actually wrote me right back and said, I'm using the Canon 6D with the 24-105 lens, and I'm like, wow, thank you so much for. And she was giving me some advice on how to shoot and where and when, and so actually Erin is the one who
she got
really
started.
got me going.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and like I say, me and Erin don't talk a whole lot, but she's the kind of person who will take the time out of the day and help you.
Yeah, she seems like I follow her on social media, and she just seems pretty, you know, like friendly and like
Yeah.
she would answer you back, like no matter what the question is, you know.
And this is another person who, say, a tragic moment of her life. Her father, you know, she created the Submit to Stigma campaign, you know, and so she's pushing that through jiu-jitsu and doing some great stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what's that all about? I'm not familiar with her at all.
Her father committed suicide.
Oh,
And
okay.
It affected her deeply, obviously. It only makes sense. And so she created this campaign to raise awareness for suicide and
Okay.
prevention. And so that's whenever you see those patches, Submit to Stigma,
Oh, that's
her campaign.
Okay,
Because of her father.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so people wear the patches on uniforms, and I really should get one too. I mean, everyone should have one. So Erin, in a roundabout way, really helped me, and I'm not entirely sure she knows the impact she's had on me.
Yeah, that's crazy because she probably just like took 5 minutes, like, oh, I'm using this, and this, and then she just forgot about it, or you know, didn't think that it's gonna change your life, but
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's how that one little person
Yeah.
along the way can make such a radical impact
Right.
on your life.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Erin.
I gotta follow her because I haven't heard of her until now.
Now she's kind of dropped the camera. She's competing full time and doing seminars. Her jiu-jitsu has taken off.
Oh, really?
And in fact, I've been watching her jiu-jitsu as well. And I've seen her actually, she was always good, but now she's really good. And so whenever I see her at World or Pan, I try to run over there and try to capture her matches now. I just think there's nothing
okay.
cooler than once being a photographer and now the one being photoed.
Right.
That's why with Masters coming up, I'm going to be shooting Mike Columbus's matches. I'm not going to tell him. I'm just going to
okay.
sneak up and I want to get
Well, you
there.
kind of did.
Well, we'll edit this out.
He may not get it until afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll see. If he listens to the podcast, he's gonna know. If not,
Surprise.
surprise. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, as far as I know, he's not. Does he follow us?
No.
Okay, so
Unfortunately.
unfortunately, but fortunately for the surprise,
Right, exactly. So,
So follow us after Master Worlds.
Yes.
but if he hears that, it's too late. Oh well.
But But as far as like just a little history about me, let's go right to the beginning.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very unusual church, so my life was very odd. My father was a minister, so I grew up as a minister's kid.
Okay.
So right there was not a good beginning for me. Now, as far as ethics and values, day one, that's part of who I am.
Yeah.
But this church had some very unusual rules, and it quite literally destroyed my childhood or my late teen years.
Freedom.
And alienating my high school friends. And when you're at that age, that's everything to a kid. Going to football games, being on the team, any team. And now I was on tennis and swim team, and I was pretty good. But obviously football is where it's at when you're a boy in school. But at the same time, I graduated senior year at a whopping 129 pounds. So I was a little guy. And so because of my odd religious beliefs, and I was very small, and I got picked on a lot, and it was hard. It was hard focusing on my schoolwork, so my grades I barely graduated. Although I guess I was pretty bright, but it doesn't matter when you're pushed around at school and you can't focus on your studies. My mind was on just survival.
Yeah.
It's sad. But I just had this talk the other day with a friend of mine. I said, in a weird way, it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow.
Because it taught me what it's like to be bullied on the wrong end of the stick. But now, I stand up against bullies, and
That's awesome.
and I try to empower kids that get bullied. I don't wave my flag high and proud all the time, like I'm a big like with campaigns and stuff. But in my personal circle of friends in life, whenever I get a chance to talk to kids, I say, look, this is not about you. It has nothing to do with how you look or what you say. It's these kids that are doing this to you, there's something inside of them that's just not right at the time. Family, life, and home. That's usually like 99% of the problem is they're unhappy. And then they see happiness in another child and they're jealous. And their only way of lashing out is to beat up on you at school and humiliate you in front of your friends.
Yeah.
So it's because they want something you have. But kids at that age, they don't understand. And I didn't get it. I'm like, why? What's the problem here? What am I doing wrong? I just didn't understand. That's what led me into Taekwondo. So at high school, I jumped into Taekwondo with both my feet. I was actually at the point where I was like not living at my school, but I would spend the night.
What belt are you in Taekwondo?
I'm a black belt.
Oh, you are? Okay.
wow.
For a long
I did not
time.
know that. Okay.
Yeah. No, I never did degree testing. I'm not a chaser of belts.
Yeah.
As Scott Houston can attest to that.
Oh, okay.
Because someone does not want his next belt either. But that's your call, Scott.
Shots fired.
Yeah, but they're humble shots.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I want my belt.
Right.
I don't want my belt. I have much to work on. So that's what drove me so hard to train Taekwondo. And I got pretty good. I am. So, and that's when my IT career took off. And I had to choose. I'm like, okay, I'm in my mid-20s. I really need to get moving on something here. And they actually offered me a school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Not officially, they said there's talk, like, they got your eye on you, Mike. You can keep going, you can have, and I'm like, well. And then I looked at how all those guys were living. They had pretty tough lives. They weren't getting paid a whole lot. I'm like, maybe not. Plus, computers came naturally to me. It's easy for me. It's something I always knew how to do. So I kind of went that path instead.
Okay.
So, and I felt terrible because when I kept training for a while, but then eventually that took over my life, and I didn't train Taekwondo for like 12 years. But I can safely say, when something is such a part of you, it's still there.
Yeah.
I could throw kicks 12, 15 years later, like, I was a little rusty, but all the technique was there.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. I lost all my flexibility, but once I was warmed up, I was kicking like I did. In fact, so I went back to school. with another professor who actually broke away from the original school. And he got my technique right up there again. And I'm throwing kicks better than I've ever thrown before, even now.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I always wanted a stand-up game and a ground game.
Mm-hmm.
And so during that whole thing is when that Gracie won that super fight. You know, the ones that put him on the map.
Oh, okay.
When jiu-jitsu kind of...
But UFC won?
Yeah.
The
was
first
that it?
UFC, yeah. I think it was the early UFC when they had the gi on and everything.
Was it Hoist Gracie?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's the time where I was kind of like winding down a little bit. And I really didn't see the value of ground fighting. I didn't get that, understand that part.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the day I realized I needed to do that was when, after I joined 360 Jiu-Jitsu, and I met Dan Borovic
Okay.
in the parking lot. We were doing some sparring at like 11 o'clock in this dark parking lot with a spotlight over us, and I was throwing some spin kicks, and he was just grabbing my leg and throwing me to the ground gently.
Wait, hold on. So you guys just met in the parking lot and started fighting? Wait, how did this happen?
No, this was just after class.
Okay.
You know, for some odd reason, we were always intrigued with each other. I thought Dan Borovic did not like me when I joined 360 because he'd always be staring at me across the mat.
No, he does that.
He does that.
That's just because he's Dan.
He saw something in you that he liked.
That was it.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
It was probably your beautiful eyes.
Oh, geez, with the compliment.
If anybody has beautiful eyes, it's Dan Borovic.
Yes.
He's probably sees his own reflection.
Yeah, I mean,
Something.
they're crazy.
And of course, and here's where Scott Houston would get on my case again and be like, get off that Dan kick. You love the guy. And I do. I think Dan is wonderful.
Yeah.
He's just got this personality that doesn't quit. You know, he's a free bird.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it was at that moment where I realized, oh my God, all this stand-up I can do doesn't mean anything. If a guy like him, and I should say a guy like him, he's amazing. But if someone could intercept a kick and put me to the ground, I didn't know what to do after that. And that's when I really understood how important jiu-jitsu was. And it just kind of evolved from there. And it's been a long road. You know, I'm probably pushing, 6 years now doing jiu-jitsu?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, and it's, you know, and when you walk into a jiu-jitsu school with a black belt in taekwondo, you think, I never thought, hey, I'm something here.
Okay.
You know, I never thought that. Actually, it took me back to what it was like to be a white belt. And I appreciated what it was like being a white belt and not to act like a white belt. So that was like a leg up for me immediately. But I thought my mindset in taekwondo would carry me through to jiu-jitsu. It did not 1 ounce.
Really?
No, because jiu-jitsu is so much deeper than taekwondo. In taekwondo, we have your forms. You know, that's one aspect. And then you have your kicks. You know, there's like several pieces of taekwondo, and you can work on any given one and become a black belt in any way. There's many paths to black belt in taekwondo. But I always wanted to be like a true fighter because that's really the definition of, I think, in my opinion, a black belt is you have to know how to fight for real. So that's when it really hit me. And so in jiu-jitsu, you know, and Scott loved to pick on me and say, you know, I would have a lot of like, Mike, I tell you to go left, you go right. I tell you to go right, you go left. What's the deal? And I never took it personally, thank God, because I could have been a guy like, you know.
Yeah, what the heck? Like,
Yeah, who
I'm
do you
quitting.
think you are?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't need this. But no, I kind of laughed it off and said, you're right, Scott. I'll try harder, you know.
Wow.
I never mouthed off to Scott, nor did I ever have the urge to. But that's one thing Taekwondo really taught me well, and I'm so grateful for that. Is if people laugh at me, even my wife, she's like, Mike, you give people too much respect. I'm like, but honey, that's really what I bow to my garbage man.
Oh, wow.
You what?
My garbage, our garbage man in our neighborhood, I bow to him.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Wow.
We're all servants, right?
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
why am I above him? Just
Right.
because he's getting my garbage doesn't mean I cannot
Right.
show him respect, say thank you for what you do, right?
It's a well-paying career on top of that, anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it really is.
You know, even mailman, FedEx,
Yeah.
UPS.
They're all people.
DMV, okay? And we all had great experiences there, right? But I bought it. It's not a full blown, but I'll do this a lot. Like, thank you. You know, and like I say, Scott can always pick out the Taekwondo people in the school because they're the ones that do the full.
Oh, yeah.
It's something that I can't turn off now. I don't want to. I don't care.
I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, when the garbage man comes, he's like, well, my dad's always like, oh, I'll give you a hug. And then he's like, no, I'm kind of dirty. He's like, I don't care.
I'm past that stuff. Plus, my family, we're all farm boys up north. My dad's one of 10 kids.
Okay.
So, you know, I never, like, lived on a farm, but I've gone up there, you know, my whole life. And I know what it's like to be around smelly cows and horses and chickens and stuff. And you have to embrace it. You know, we're not above anything. So, I know we've gone off track a little bit.
No, not at all.
Great.
This is perfect.
So that's what kind of led into my IT, information technology career. And this is right around the time where the World Wide Web came about. So, here we go. 1989, 2 years out of high school. Now, I did not start this company, but I bought it shortly after. My friend named Dean Roth, amazing IT guy, started an internet company in Milwaukee. So he had it for a couple of years and grew it nicely. And then I, with my father's help, bought it. And once I sold it off, barely, we're the second largest in Wisconsin. This is where America Online was really big, AOL.com.
Yeah.
And so we were selling dial-up access to all the residents in Wisconsin. So it was an amazing ride. And but during that time, I let myself go bad. I was working 7 days a week and wasn't taking care of myself. And you know, it was a rough and amazing time. And in the end, it didn't actually end very well when I sold my company. The purchase didn't go quite right, and I really kind of lost most of everything I owned.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I still think about it a lot. But there's a reason for everything. Because while my company wasn't spiraling down, but I, as a person, was spiraling down. I was having breakdowns. I actually ended up in the hospital.
Oh, God.
For a couple of days, because I just lost it. My dad actually had to come get me. My own father, a grown man, had to come get me from my own company and take me to his house. I was crying I didn't know why. I just had this massive breakdown. And because I was working so hard, I just couldn't take it anymore. So that's when we decided to sell. And my dad says, you need to get out of this. I can't let you go through this anymore. So then it's around when I met my wife.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Mommy knows some of what I want to, but she doesn't know quite everything.
But the thing is, when you were doing your internet company, my mom lived across the street. Like, her company was across the street, and my uncle would go to him every day. This is when they didn't even know each other yet.
Okay.
My uncle would go to him every day to drop off mail. And
pay the monthly bill.
Okay.
Because my mom used his company.
Gotcha.
Whoa.
Internet.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so
Did he bow to your uncle then?
No.
He's like, wait, that guy was very respectful.
yeah, I like him.
Yeah, that's why he started dating his sister.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
bow to your mailman. You never know who they're gonna be.
And this is literally when I swore off women. 'Cause
Ah.
I got a bad relationship one year earlier, and I was done. I was done with girls.
Okay.
Until one Saturday morning,
At a gas station.
at a gas station of all places,
Love it.
she was in getting coffee. I was getting coffee, and our eyes met, and it was.
Wow.
And the gas station guy who ran the counter knew me many years, and he looked at me. He's like winking at me, looking at Mike. Check out this beautiful Asian girl there, and I'm like, damn.
This is like a movie scene.
This is.
Like,
Oh
I
my
pictured
gosh.
this in.
This could be a.
Oh, it gets better
Does it?
What?
on many levels, and I don't want to waste a podcast talking about.
No, but
Go
this
ahead.
podcast is on about you.
But it could be right out of a movie. After we met, we find out that my best friend at the time and her best friend
Oh my god.
have been trying to put us together
Whoa.
on a blind date for over a year.
Say what?
Yes. But we, with our busy schedules, we're like, I can't make it. Tell her I can't go tonight. We always cancel.
Oh.
Because we're just so busy, right?
That's so crazy.
Right. So moving ahead, we started going out a little bit, and then I take her to my apartment one night, and we get there, and I open the door, and she walks in, she's like, no freaking way. I'm like, what? She's like, this is my old apartment.
No!
Oh
my God!
I am so glad to be hearing this story. This is
This is
amazing.
ridiculous.
I'm not lying.
This is so good.
If you didn't believe in destiny,
Like,
what?
that is the definition of destiny.
Here it
right
is.
There.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now, just because something is destiny, everybody, does not mean that there's no work required
Right.
in making a relationship work.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, after that time, we've had a very rocky relationship where there were multiple breakups. Where we would actually, move in and move out. I mean, it was
okay,
crazy.
good.
And a lot of it had to do with the way I was not handling the company well. Like, it was just hard. Plus, I didn't have martial arts for me at the time. I didn't have that, So let's just jump ahead one more time. So to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So when I found jiu-jitsu again, and then photography, I was shooting like 20 years ago is when I got into photography. But it was hot and cold. And for a long time, that camera sat on my shelf for a long time. But when I did buy my first camera, I didn't skimp. I didn't buy a little thing. It was the Canon 20D at the time.
Oh yeah, I used that one for photography class at summer camp. I use it because like my teacher, who also knows my dad, his name is Mr. Dempsey. So every year he would do a photography class, and like he would throw water and you try to get like shutter speed shots, and then like him throwing a football, trying to do like fast shots of it like going like that, and then I did it like for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it was like the same thing every year. So I didn't really do it this year because it's like the same thing.
But that's
But
the
it got
camera.
better.
That's
Oh,
the
wow.
camera I handed down to her.
That's awesome.
So she has a pro level
That's
DSLR.
I had the biggest camera in the class, even bigger than the teachers.
Everyone's
Yeah.
like, what?
It was bigger than the teacher.
It's only 8 megapixels, but it's the most beautiful, bright, sharp 8 megapixels you will see. And so I that's officially your camera now.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
So when I bought that camera, and I bought the biggest, best lens, the whole thing was like $6,000.
Oh wow.
And I went nuts, and it sat on a shelf for many years, and then every year we go to Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I took my camera with, and that's when I started shooting like beach shots and stuff, and I caught this magical, they call it the golden hour in photography world. It's either while the sun's rising in the morning or going down at night. And it was either one of those times where Megan has this beautiful dress on. I like buying her dresses.
We were in Hawaii. It was the first time we were in Hawaii, and we were at the best hotel. And we found this Hawaiian dress shop. So my dad goes in, he's like, Megan, look at all these dresses. I'm getting you like all of them.
I'm not that rich.
He bought me a
But we
bunch
bought a
of them.
select few dresses.
Yeah.
and,
Nice.
and so we were on the beach, and I was just shooting, and I just got this one shot. It was like a moment, and I'll show it to you later. But it was just magical, and I knew then, I'm like, oh my God, this is what I want to do.
Wow.
Interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I bring it home, and I did a poster size print of it. We have it in our bathroom.
Yeah.
And
I love bathroom.
that's kind of when I knew. And then what happened after that is I started making these shots, and I think photography was my destiny too, because
Okay.
my neighbor across the street for like 25 years owned a camera store, and he was a pro photographer, and
Okay.
I reconnected with him years later, and I showed him my
Gotcha.
work, and he's like, Mike, how long have you been shooting? I'm like, just a little bit. He's like, you've got this interesting way of composing shots. And he says, we teach this in class, but you're like doing it already. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, there's this thing called, they call it rule of thirds, where you chop up a picture and you try to place people in a spot. I just had a natural placement for people where to put them in a shot. And I said, Mike, you just got half the battle done already, and you already do it naturally. So I said, we just have to maybe work on a couple more things, and I think we can make you a really good photographer, And that's when I knew, okay, not only is computers my natural ability, photography comes easy for me too. But it was uphill battle though, understanding. It was a new concept, just like jiu-jitsu. These are concepts, they're painful in the beginning, right? But if you can get past that threshold of, oh my God, I don't want to learn this, but I have to, right? Once I started learning the dynamics of a camera, like shutter speed, aperture, ISO, and they call it the triangle. It's a mix between the three, and you change one, it affects the other two.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, I can't. That's too much for my little brain to handle. I change one thing, and two more things change. It's like, but once you understand how you control all of them, I understand how to get those beautiful, like blurry backgrounds and those really sharp foregrounds, or just it all came together for me.
Okay.
And then my post-processing abilities got much better. And if you look at my old photos, you can kind of draw a roadmap as to where my photography started and where it was not very good. Because even though I was good,
Right.
there were missing elements that and you don't see them until you look back. Just like your jiu-jitsu. I don't know if do you have old videos of yourself as a wipeout?
Oh my God, yeah.
And you're like, holy shit,
Even just like 2 years ago, I'm just like,
Even last week sometimes, because I actually record all my rolls. Like
You do? I used to do
you see me
that.
tripod. I put the tripod up and then I record it as like a study. So like that's how that helps me learn. It feels like a shortcut to me because it's like it takes over all the work that your own memory has to do to learn.
Smart. I should do that.
I feel like it's really
I
helping
need to
me.
do that.
You know what? I'm going to do it from now on.
All right, awesome.
Because Scott, he'll stand on the wall and coach people. But when you have so many people, you can't
Right.
coach everybody. And
Yeah.
I think maybe now that I'm more of a serious competitor, Scott will maybe spend more time with me, giving me vocal commands like, Mike, get the underhook, or you're not, get your weight down, you're too high. Things like that. I desperately need that kind of coaching when I roll, because you know how it feels to be on your own, you're winging it, and you're not sure what to do. And if I could have someone there giving me definitive information as to, no, this is what you do in this position. It's not you could do one of 10 things. No, you got to get the underhook or a crossface. You have to get this. And these are things that I feel by now I should know, being so close to purple. And that's probably why I don't feel comfortable getting my purple right now. And I just think there's certain basic things I should know and I may not be doing just yet.
This is one of the things that situations where I think you might be like your own worst critic, because a lot of people that are purple belt or even higher are not as smooth and technical as you are. Because I finally got to roll with you the 360 when I went to that open mat, which was cool, and you move really well. And I didn't. There are people that are purple and brown that are rigid, that don't use technique, that still muscle things around, and you are not that. Like you're definitely.
That was my goal.
Technique.
So I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I was told that the other day too by someone else that is really good. John Guda's wife coming to train at 360.
Oh, okay.
Claire.
She is amazing. She is. I've been shooting her for years, but I finally got to meet her, and she's in town training for a while at 360.
Okay.
She is she's so forthcoming with information, and during the rolls, she's giving me advice on what to do, and she said some nice words the other day too, like my rolling is very smooth and it flows, and that was one of my goals.
That's awesome.
Is to not ever be that spazzy white belt.
Same. Yeah.
But in some respects, I'm taking it too far, because I am giving it positions, and I'm just giving away the farm. when I'm rolling. And I know that's part of something I need to get past if I'm ever going to be a higher level competitor. That's
being really too nice to.
Yes.
I do the same thing. Like I play reactively too much, and then I'm too friendly. I don't crank up the pace sometimes, and like when I need to.
Prime example at the Chicago Open. Why I took silver at no-gi is because, I was in half guard and I was doing shoulder pressure and I was crushing his throat. I could feel it. He's not liking it. I did the Sparry foot, where I brought my foot over, peeled it out, and I could tell he was not comfortable with me making him gag on his own. And I'm like, so I let off a little bit. That's not the time to do that.
No, that's time to go in for the kill.
Okay, and this is what Claire was talking about. She's like, Mike, you can't. You have to learn to separate being nice with competition. And I really truly believe if I kept that pressure on hard like I should have, because I was in such a great spot. All of a sudden, my weight got too high as I was pulling my leg out. So I was trying to go a 3/4 mount, and I just couldn't get it. He sweeps me. All of a sudden, he's on top.
And he's putting...
And now, I look at the clock, and I got 1:30 to get out of that. And I'm like, my gold medal's right on that clock. And I'm like, oh, it's frustrating. So, and of course, I didn't make it out in time. So he was up in points, and he won. And but like I say, competition is about that moment. I will never, ever do that again.
Yeah. That gets drilled in once you make a pretty big mistake.
Yeah. So, and like I say, that's, people laugh at me when I say this a lot. I say I train jiu-jitsu, but I don't like hurting people. And they're like, how can that be, Mike? I said, well, jiu-jitsu means the gentle art. I'm trying to stay true to the meaning of that. And I want, and Scott, I just love, he likes to give speeches during class, and I love them. He always thinks he might ramble, but his words are very meaningful to me. And he always says, clean, technical, non-meathead jiu-jitsu. And that's the reason he got out of doing like at MMA gyms. He wanted his own academy so he could teach pure technical jiu-jitsu.
And a lot of you guys are super smooth and technical.
I can definitely tell that that's a core belief at your guys' gym.
Morin, I was rolling with Morin. I rolled with Steve the Blahnik.
He's really good.
Really good, all of you guys are super smooth.
Yeah, we try. We try, and so I'm just doing my best to like stay true to the core values of Scott's school and what jiu-jitsu is meant to be. And this is where competition it will become a problem for me. It's just a mental hurdle I need to get over, where there is a time and place to put on the hurt.
And they're gonna be okay too.
So in some ways, I'm known to be the guy in the school, to be the non-spazziest, safe guy to go with.
That's good.
I go with Crawley kids all the time. We have a lot of fun together, because I've learned how to throttle back, because it's not fair to use your strength against certain people.
Yeah, for sure.
So I believe in just using pure technique. But when you're lower level, you only have so much technique. So
it's still it still improves your technique to do it that way. I felt like it helps a lot. But yeah, it does also condition you poorly for tournaments, because I did that for such a long time, rolling slow and being too nice, that I'm like, okay, I'll just crank it up at tournaments. But then when I go to a tournament, then I'm still too nice to the guy, because it's habit. You can't break that habit in one sitting, so it has to be conditioned. So you nowadays I choose people that I know I can just put the pace on, and then that way I'm, I don't feel bad about it.
One thing I noticed as well, being a well-known photographer, when people visit our school, I really don't think they're putting it on me like they should. Present company not excluded. I know you're being nice. I do, because I know how you should feel as your level, and I know you're being technical and nice. But I need the hurt to be put on me if I'm gonna really learn.
Well, that
it's
could also
okay
be
with me.
because of the way you rolled. They're like, okay, he's not spazzing out. I'm gonna go smooth too. Like that
They
could-
like match your
Yeah.
pace. Like I
There
do.
could be truth to that too. Yeah, I guess I just
That's how I
envisioned
was
in my
doing it
mind.
when we rolled.
Yeah. Like I say, I always want to be the nice guy you can trust. But at the same time, you always want everyone's A game. Mm-hmm. Because, and I really never truly envisioned getting into competing like I am now. Mm-hmm. I'm still at the very beginning of it. I only have like 3 or 4 Chicago Opens under my belt, you know. And I'm still getting the hang of this stuff. I guess I just wanted to prove to myself that the butterflies can go away, and they're not there. Problem is, I'm getting too good at disconnecting too much before the match.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So I think I'm all good to go because I'm just kind of just.
Yeah, you don't have that adrenaline.
Yeah, but at the same time, man, you have to unleash the beast.
Right.
You know, when the guy says, "Come back," you know,
Yeah.
and you go, "Roar!"
Exactly.
You know, and I'm just kind of like strolling up.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, let's do this.
Because in my mind, I'm trying to envision like this is no different than a role at a school. Because in a lot of respects, it is no different than a role
Right.
at a school. There's just more on the line. And you got 6 minutes to do it. 5 or 6 minutes, I forget the number. But
Depends on the division. Yeah.
yeah. So there's so many pieces of my jiu-jitsu that I will not relinquish. You know, I want to be clean and technical. And, you know, and I'm having a hard time finding that. Unless I get hurt during a match, like someone stubs my finger, then something really bad happens inside of me. I unleash.
Vengeance.
I do. That's in me. A lot of that's in me. I won't lie to you. And a lot of that goes back to being picked on in school.
Yeah.
That there's a monster inside of all of us.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone realizes that.
We're not perfect. So
Yeah.
In the world, though, I mean,
yeah.
till you're pushed to a point, you need to know how to control that little person inside of you because you don't want to hurt someone out of vengeance, out of anger. And that's when you get hurt during a match, that's a trigger, like, you know, especially when you're like, have something coming up in the future that you need your hand
Oh,
for.
right, yeah.
You know, and I'm like, oh, okay, now what's on, you know? And when you're in a certain place, you can't do that. You have to like,
No,
okay, you gotta
yeah.
stay in control. So that I'm always fighting that person inside of me because he's there a lot.
Yeah. You can bring intensity without anger for sure.
So now I'm getting good at focusing that now. So what I need to do now though is during rolling is not just go 2 matches and sit one out, go 2 matches. I'm watching the real competitors out there.
Yeah.
They're going every match because they need that aerobic conditioning. And so I think that's probably my next evolution.
Yeah.
Will
You
be,
need to know how to push when you're
even
tired.
though I want to throw up a little bit,
Grind.
or feeling a little funny, or I want that drink of water sitting over there really bad. I can't. I just need to go again.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I mean, hydration is important too.
Yeah, and see, that's another thing too. I'm getting into this as an old guy. I mean, I need to take care of my muscles. I need to stay hydrated and eat really good, and so that's probably why I sit out every third row because I can't afford to get hurt right now because time.
Their health is important.
That's a good number. 3.
Yeah, let me tell you, as you get older and once you have kids, it's a haunting experience inside your stomach. Like when you see your own mortality and you know now you're at the halfway mark, you start thinking about stuff really differently. And every moment is precious and don't mess around. So for me, keeping my body injury free is high up on the scale. Because, you know, once jiu-jitsu lets out, you know, life does continue on beyond those walls. And there's homework, dinner to make, kids, and responsibilities. And you can't come in with a black eye or, you know, messed up ankle. And that's why I actually had I'm not going to say quit Taekwondo, but I don't train anymore like I used to because I broke both my ankles.
Oh, okay.
You know, trying to do these aerial spinning kicks. Because one thing in Taekwondo is you always have to outdo yourself. You can't just keep doing the same stuff. You always have to add on to your game. But when you land wrong, and it's not worth it. But jiu-jitsu, you can always take pit stops or just stop along the way. You can find good positions where you're safe, get your composure back, and say, okay, now I'm ready to continue. You have control over the pace. In Taekwondo match, once you land a spin kick and break ribs, you can't like undo that. And I've done that. I've broken the ribs of my friends where they're out 6 months. And I'm like, oh my God, I did that. Now they're at home. They may not come back now. Because you know how it is when you take time off. You start talking yourself out of going back again. You're like, oh, I guess I really don't need that much. I don't want to be responsible for that. So that's why Jiu-Jitsu I also love. That's why tapping I love.
Yeah.
It's like a reboot. It's a second chance. There's time to say, I concede to your position because I can't take it anymore. But Taekwondo is too permanent. Once you land that punch or kick, what's done is done.
Yeah.
And I can't live with myself if I do that. So.
Wow. That's a good point.
Alright, let's face it. You're filthy and you probably smell bad. Ranked soap. It's the opposite of rancid not soap. Huge thank you to Dakota Sharp and Kevin DeVries of Ranked Soap. They've been with us since episode 1 and have just been amazing sponsors, so we're really glad to have them on board with us.
So, Mike, tell us a little bit more about the life of a jiu-jitsu photographer. I don't think a lot of people actually understand what you guys go through.
No, they do not. Most competitors, like say, have their day that they're going to compete. So they schedule their flights and hotel around that one day, and then they'll typically go home after that, unless they're going to hang out for like a jiu-jitsu camp or something. A photographer, you literally have to spend the entire span of the tournament there. And for me, I not only book one day before and one day after, sometimes I book even 2 days before and 2 days after for people that want maybe supplemental pictures to be taken, or maybe some sponsored t-shirt shots or gi companies and stuff like that. But for me, that 2 days, when you're staying in California, hotel rooms are like $200 a night.
Yeah.
So for Worlds, the day I checked in, I immediately put $1,600 on my credit card. Day one.
Right.
And that's just my hotel.
Oh, jeez.
Just to stay, And so, in order, when I book clients, and I do have an amazing following of clients that do book me on a consistent basis. And thank you, everybody, for that. It only pays for like half. So every time I go to shoot Worlds and Pans, I basically lose $1,000. I'm in the hole, $1,000 out of my savings just to do what I love. So that this is not to be a sob story of a photographer, but just a little bit of reality for everybody who thinks that photographers are, jet setting around the world and taking a week off in beautiful California.
Right.
I get up in California. I get up at 5:30 a.m. every day, just to get to the morning breakfast that the hotel offers before the lines fill up, just to eat, and then go back to my room and shower and get ready, get all my photography gear together and Uber it to the venue. And I'm literally there an hour to 2 hours before it even begins.
Dang.
I am there before any other photographer. Ask anybody. It's just my way of staking my claim at the press table, getting all the power cords lined up, getting all my settings on my camera dialed in, and getting coffee, and then I have to prepare with making sandwiches and drinks in a backpack every morning, just to prepare for the day. So then, once that first bell rings for the first match, I'm out there shooting. Depending on who has hired me, the pressure begins. Because I rely entirely on having Wi-Fi access or Verizon, or AT&T, wherever I can get at the time to keep my hotspot enabled for my laptop at the press table. And as we all know, it's just a dynamic environment. Matches are always changing all the time. and they'll shift them up 5-10 minutes. And throughout the day, what was pre-done in my calendar, and by the way, the night before, I'll spend up to 1 a.m. entering clients into my calendar, my Outlook calendar, which is connected to my smartphone and my watch. So while I'm sitting shooting matches, I'm actually being notified as when my next match is.
Oh, okay.
But that's not connected to the computer system. That's just what it was the night before. It could be now pushed up 15-20 minutes sooner now.
Yeah, it could be even an hour sometimes.
Yeah.
At Worlds.
So the amount of pressure I am under, it's
Yeah.
incredible. But of course, there's so much adrenaline there and excitement. That's what keeps my mind off the pressure, because I'm just so in the moment that I don't hear anything behind me when I'm shooting. When I'm in the match,
Wow.
I'm looking through that lens. I'm with them. You know what I mean? And I know what's coming next. I know the progression of movements and how things work. So I know when that magic shot's gonna come. But back to my day again. So this goes on, and I'm always running back to the press table, having to refresh the computer system to see when the matches are moved up, or if someone wins a match that I'm covering, I have to continue to watch them now. And in a really bad way, sometimes when a competitor loses that I'm covering, it's almost a relief in a way, because now my job is finished with that person, and I can now focus on the next one. But obviously, I want them to win. Win all the way, because my goal is to get that shot at
Winning shots, yeah.
like that one of Jessica, man. Oh my God, that was. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And
You had several really good ones
Yeah.
of her.
I
The
can't thank you
tears,
enough.
it's special.
Yeah.
And it's odd, because and then that one moment will literally re-energize me for the next 5 hours.
Wow.
It's just those feelings of, like, say, photography is a very feeling type of business. It's not, oh my God, this sucks, I'm hungry, and I need to go to the bathroom, and I got to shoot this damn match. No, for me, it's like, okay, this person hired me to capture this special moment for them, and they trained their ass off, paid a ton of money to get here, probably had to take off of work. And if they have kids, they probably had to manage someone to watch their kids, or make a deal with their husband or wife to watch the kids so they can go off for 2 days.
Right.
Chasing their dream.
Yeah.
There's a lot at stake here, and I'm not going to miss that shot. So I am so in the moment focused.
That's awesome.
I will get my shot. And 99% of the time, I do get it. So this is the kind of stuff. And now, so before I leave on a trip like this, I have to consult with my wife, and who thankfully always says yes, because she knows this feeds my soul. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
So I have to talk to her about arranging to make sure the kids are okay with her, and I have to get all the money together before I even booked. And I booked these trips, by the way, 2 to 3 months early, while airfares are low. So, there's a lot at stake that I have to prepay money into that I could lose if the trip doesn't work out. See, a lot of competitors will just book at the last second and say they'll decide to just go. And me, I don't have that luxury. So I have to really plan this out ahead of time. So there's so much more just before I even leave the house to these venues, these trips, that has to be planned. You have to have enough money set aside for any incidentals, and I always bring, like, say, plenty of cash with me just in case something weird happens with credit cards. So I always have to be ready for that. So then, in the Uber rides, I try to book my hotels within 3 miles of the venue. That way I can take the shuttle, but I rarely do that. I take the Uber now because I'm getting at such weird hours. And this is a funny thing about shooting jiu-jitsu. It looks like things are winding down at the venue, right? But that just means they're preparing for now open class.
Right.
We're talking about 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Now you're really thinking about that restaurant.
Right.
That I want to get a nice ribeye because I haven't eaten anything all day. And you're just ready to pass out.
And you start thinking you're taking pictures of food, not people, right?
Yeah.
Their heads
Like,
turn into like hamburgers.
And I always, it just works out in a way where I always end up being the last guy that leaves.
Yeah.
It's almost a joke with the IBJJF staff. They're up on top looking down at me, and I'm packing, and they're like, Mike, can we get out of here? We cannot leave this facility until all people are out. We're responsible for you, Mike. So
First guy in, last guy out.
and I'm like, I'm staying here in a odd way for you guys because, you know,
It helps them, yeah.
the pictures I'm putting on social media is what's driving jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Yeah, the art is driving jiu-jitsu, yes.
Yeah.
But what's going to sustain jiu-jitsu? Getting more people to join.
Exactly.
Okay? Just like Catholic Church, you know, they're running out of priests, you know. You need to like ingratiate yourself to the community to show why you want to join a church, become a priest, and live the lifestyle. Unless you do that, it's going to die. So I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to just say IBJJF, but just any place running jiu-jitsu tournaments understands the importance of photographers and ones that really capture moments in the essence of jiu-jitsu and puts it out on social media. That's actually what got me into photography. It's because of Aaron Hurley's pictures.
Yeah.
So that's powerful. And I just wish, I'm not saying there's not a lot of respect given to photographers, but it seems like we're like an afterthought in many ways. Like, okay, we'll set you up a table over there. We'll run you a power cord, and as I've gotten to know IBJJF staff more, they're becoming very accommodating for me. But in the beginning, it was just almost like, you know, it's an inconvenience for them, and I get it. We're another body running around in the way. But, you know, I know how to be out of the way. I've always been very mindful. I'll tuck myself into a table in a really bad spot just so people can get through to the mat, you know. In the beginning, I used to get yelled at by some of the refs if my foot was even, like, on the mat a little bit. And now they're like,
Whatever.
that's Mike. He shoots my matches. So
Yeah.
right? It's so nice having all those refs, everyone, looking at me before matches going, you know, give me the little finger going, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, you'll get me later, right, Mike? Yeah, okay. It's just nice to know everybody now. Before, though, man, you're like...
You're a popular guy, 5,000 Facebook friends.
Right?
Yeah.
I wish Facebook would up that
that's-
number.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure why that number exists. But, you know, and the thing is, I'm really weak on Instagram. I only have, like, maybe not even 4,000 followers. Look at Mike Columbus. He has like 35,000.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure that number is
Lisa.
going to be...
I have 400, so that's pretty good to me.
Elisa Albin. I love her.
She's great.
Oh, she's a great lady. Her and I have a lot of fun together. We usually catch dinner together, Master World. She's a wonderful lady. She's got probably pushing 40,000 Instagram followers. I'm like, how do you do that? You know, like my pictures are, I think, good.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Why are they not going crazy?
I'm
So,
sure they will be soon.
I'm not sure what that magic. I think it's when they got in it, and like I say, I'm kind of late into the game. But the thing was, the generation I'm gonna cover now are the Italos.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? the
52 and 0.
yeah, the purple belts.
Yeah.
These up and comers from my AOJ.
Yeah.
And the Jessicas, okay, the future champions. So so I'm just getting started.
Right.
I think my
the
claim
next
to
2
fame will be
years,
covering
like,
you guys and your rise to fame. You know, and also and this is one other thing that sets me apart from their photographers, and I just did it naturally. It's whenever a big name like Buchetta, is up, and all you see is these orange vests leave and go all over there, and there's these blue belts, purple belts, matches going on, and I'm like, wait, what about these people?
Right.
Yeah.
Does anyone care about them? So I go out of my way to not shoot, the big names. If I get a match, great.
Yeah.
But no, someone's got to cover these other matches.
Right,
so
for
I
sure.
stay behind,
Yeah.
and thank God I would get these really special matches. I'm a right place at the right time kind of guy. I don't know how it worked out for me, but I keep getting these really significant matches where I got one girl from Australia, flew all the way, her entire family was behind me. I didn't know that. There were like 15, 20 of them. And I just plopped onto the mat, and I got her. It was the finals, and I got her ripping her gi open,
Nice.
and later on, I come to find out her entire family was behind me in her school. They all flew from Australia.
Oh my
That is
goodness.
awesome.
You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Did you get them too?
yeah, I did.
You get them in the shot?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And her name is Danielle Alvarez. Danny Alvarez is her father. I didn't know that in Texas, so I got her match like that.
Yeah, I think I saw that picture.
Yeah, and I was there at the time, so I looked behind me. They were all back there. I'm like, because no one was shooting over there. I'm like, you guys can't.
Lower
do
belts
that.
are people too.
Right? So that's that. I think that's probably it. And so I'm getting to be known as maybe the guy who cares about lower belts and older people. You know,
I've seen glorious white beards on your
Dean
pictures before. Yeah,
Gene Cook.
Oh yeah, BJJ Moses. Yeah,
that guy's awesome.
he looks cool.
Yeah,
Especially
his
in
wife
your
pokes fun of
pictures.
me. She says I have beard envy because I'm always complimenting. She hates that thing. Sorry.
I think it's
You're
great.
just fueling the fire.
I love it, man.
It's legendary. I saw that picture. That was one of my favorite shots of yours. I'm like, I don't know this guy, but that beard just looks cool.
Yeah, he's a Carlson Gracie. I think he's under Tom Cronin.
Okay.
And I've gotten to be friends with him too, and his wife, and not in a good way with his wife. No, we're all friends, but she's like she wants that beard gone, and I'm like telling him,
That's his identity.
she's like, stop complimenting on his beard. He's never gonna shave that damn thing off. So it was just a lot of fun. So that's another aspect I'm trying to cover is the older generation, because I get it now how it feels. I know that you want to feel significant. It's just little things in life.
Yeah.
And I never realized how important these pictures were. I didn't know. I was just throwing them out there, and then I'm getting people saying, "My God, that one picture you got of me years ago." I'm like, I don't even know anything about it. And like, you changed everything.
Right.
They're making not memes, but actual like inspirational quotes overlaid on top of the picture for their school. And I'm like, oh my God, that's
that's your work.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I think Lisa though has the record for the amount of like canvases done.
Mm-hmm.
She does these amazing black and white canvases for schools.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's truly the pinnacle of work is when your stuff ends up on the wall of the school.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why I'm like, I gotta do.
Yeah.
I gotta do justice.
So we got yours.
Yeah.
And I have to get. There's a ton. You guys have no idea, by the way. All the pictures I put up. There's probably 2,000 more.
Oh my goodness.
No, of the
The ones that you didn't.
pristine ones that
Yeah.
I just haven't had time to work on because I burn out.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only work so many weeks in a row after
Yeah.
Worlds when I get home. By the way, when I get home from Worlds, I get sick. I'm so...
You push your body through.
Yeah.
I am not
hours.
right in the
I
head.
see you on the last day, like you're
I'm
just
not
like
right in the
walking
body.
out there.
Takes me a week.
Yeah.
It's bad. So like say the life photographer is, we get to run around with the orange vests on and we get to sit mat side and watch all these amazing matches. Yes. But at the same time, dealing with the screaming, my ears ring at the end of the day of all the, and it's just, I don't know. But the good outweighs the bad in such a major way that it's all worth it, So it would be nice someday to maybe make a living at it. But with the business model of the IBJJF and just how things work, and everyone's there in a shoestring budget. So, and that's why in the beginning, and for the most part, I still don't charge for pictures. And there were a couple of high-level photographers. When Master Worlds 4 years ago, I was there, and I was getting flack in the corner. Like, I'm like, you can't keep doing this. It's like, this is our livelihood. You can't keep giving away your pictures like this. And I'm like, and of course, being a little bit more mature and growing up now, years ago, it'd been, screw you,
Yeah.
Who are you to tell me I can do whatever I want? That's a childish response.
Yeah.
I basically said, so I understand. I apologize if I'm treading on your area here, but, I'm sure a lot of us started out like this. We're just getting into it, seeing if we have what it takes to be in it, and in time, we will start charging or be compensated in a way. And so now no one bothers me now. You know, I'm right in with the best photographers now. We're all buddies at the same table, and we don't give each other any crap about it. But I do respect their trade, and I know Mike Columbus, his livelihood really does depend on these pictures, and I do try to help him when I'm there too. That guy is like say a machine, a true machine. So I try to get him coffee. Whenever I do food runs, I don't just buy food for me.
Get it for all the
I get it for the table, you know. And I'm not trying to like say, "Hey, look at me, I'm." No, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because these people cannot get away, and they're dying just as much as I am. So when I come back, I'll buy like 12 sandwiches, hot dogs, and drinks, as much as I get in my arms. Because you know, when you leave the mat, that's like money. Those are missed shots that I'm never gonna get.
Right.
I mean, you know how hard it is for me to walk away from a mat to go get food, and when I'm up there, all I hear is.
You're like, no.
You know, all those chants they do.
Yeah.
And I'm just going,
Dang it.
Patricia wasn't even fighting.
you know, it's like, what am I missing? But I said, you know what? Don't matter, because there's going to be many more moments like this. And if I'm such a crappy photographer, then I need one defining picture of the tournament to make me who I am, then I'm no good. So I can miss a few matches. The world can live without my pictures for a minute, because there's many other photographers that are getting pictures too. You know, and that's another thing too. I think I got that money shot. I'll find out that there's some other shots just like mine that have made it. You know, it's just you're not replaceable. You're not. You know, see, you have to have the attitude like you're not.
Yeah.
You're not the bomb. You're just another guy. Just be humble about it and do your best to get the shot.
So, Mike, when you see like amateur photos,
like iPhone photos,
Mm-hmm.
do you like cringe, or what's your reaction to those?
Just like in jiu-jitsu, you can never forget what it's like to be a white belt.
Ooh,
You
true.
cannot, because as we all know, we were all one at one time, right? So I bite my tongue a lot. I try to be positive and uplifting when people ask me to critique their photos. But at the same time, you have to like maybe give a tip at the same time, because you're not helping them if you don't give them any good information. So I will not like love a photo on Facebook unless I really love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've loved a lot of mine, so I'm.
you're good, dudes.
Yeah. Maybe it's just the post itself, but
But I am truly finding though, some people got it, man. You know, like there's next door to our school, there's a place called Iron Fist Fitness.
okay.
His name is Shannon Vick. He's an amazing physique. He trains a lot of us at 360. And he does his iPhone shots. And this guy just nails it, man. He does these like downtown Milwaukee high-rise buildings or certain scenario, and every time he puts them up, I'm just like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I like to express my feelings about things, but sometimes you can't be too truthful either, because you don't want to like squash somebody while they're in their form. Just like kids, you cannot squash their spirit.
Right.
You need to be supportive of everything they do. At the same time, though, you can't lie.
Right.
Okay, you don't want to like support
That's
someone.
great. Yeah, it's like
You know what I mean? It's like I find myself actually being like a parent 24/7, the way I talk to people all the time, because you have to understand that whatever comes out of your mouth is going to affect that person, and you can never take it back.
yeah.
It's permanent, you know. And you'll find it out the more relationships you're in. You start to learn that tough lesson, like whatever you say right now, you cannot retract. So if you do have something harsh to say, put a little thought into it first before it comes out of your mouth, and because you can actually say some amazingly abrasive, hurtful things that have to be said, but you can say it in such a way where it can be received well.
Yeah.
And there's an art to that, and it takes practice.
Yeah.
But if you can master that art earlier in life than later, I think you can really do some great things with people.
Yeah. So definitely something I could work on. That's
It's a never-ending process, you know. And so, like with me, I'm in such a multicultural environment a lot.
Yeah.
With having my Asian side of the family, being around African American a lot, and people from India. You have to be mindful. Just be mindful.
Yeah.
Because we're all brought up with a certain belief system, and you have to respect that. And I don't. That's why this whole religion thing is driving me insane. The U.S. has a hard road ahead of it with all the melding of religions. It's like it's what makes, as I said, the U.S. so great, but it's also
Complications,
Yeah.
It's not easy.
There's more. Everything. There's just more to worry about. Yeah. You were talking about kids and not. What were you saying? You don't want to like
Squash
them and stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to trample on their spirit, because there's greatness in kids. We all know it.
Speaking of, Megan, how was the whole Chicago Open experience for you?
It was good. It was tiring at the end of the day, and how my dad said earlier, how we would get like a good dinner after. Like on the first day of Chicago Open, we had a ribeye steak, each of us. And then on the second day, we went to Red Lobster and had seafood, which is really good.
Well-earned dinners. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just asked Megan to shoot podium pictures with a camera on a tripod. It was a very simple task that I thought she might enjoy doing. And I go off and shoot some matches, and I come back, and she's at the table running everything. I mean, obviously it was with the assistance of the two girls, but she was at the computer screen. And she's talking to competitors, taking IDs, checking them in, telling them where to go. She's like running the show.
I was calling on the microphone.
Yeah.
It was
I heard her voice all day. I was like,
And I hear
that's
this
awesome.
adorable little
Yeah.
voice. I'm on the mats going, oh my God, is that Megan? I'm like, and then everyone behind me is going, oh, this is so cute.
It was definitely awesome.
Yeah, he was saying that you had like no fear. You did it like it was your job, like you've done it for years or something.
Yeah, and someone like me who's been, I've always feared public speaking.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good trait to have.
It is.
It
It's
is.
if you're given it to by God,
Right.
wow. Because some of us guys have to go through the school of
Work
hard
at
knocks
it, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
or train to like go to public speaking
scary,
classes.
yeah.
And then it's still hard.
You get up in front of people. Now, when I had my internet company, that's what broke me out of that, because I had to. That was like the first time in my life where I had to do this. Otherwise, I was going to fail and lose everything.
Yeah.
That's what made me do it. And then somehow I got through it. And in time, I got better. But this girl here, since she's been
Yeah, I thought
2
she'd been
years
doing it
old.
for like years.
walks up to people and just strikes up. This girl, we'll go to a restaurant and we'll be eating a nice dinner, and in those restaurants that have the bar stool seating, she'll see an elderly man up there by himself eating. She would actually get out of a seat and sit up next to him and
Oh
start
my
shooting
gosh.
and talking about some really deep stuff
Whoa.
at a very young age. And I'm like,
What are you talking about? Like their retirement plan or
remember.
what?
yeah, IRAs or what's going on? It's just, the thing is, she spent a lot of time with my father.
Okay.
My mom passed away shortly after, she was
Yeah, I
born.
got to be with her for about 3 years, and then she passed away.
Yeah, so my dad was a lost soul when that happened, and Megan was there the whole time. So those two, they just had this connection, man, like I've never seen between grandfather and granddaughter. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
So it's a beautiful thing. So I think, but when you hang around with someone like my dad and you go to these midday lunches with the old crew.
Oh my gosh.
They talk about their war stories and coming from Germany, and because my dad
Yeah.
has a lot of friends that are from all over. She would go to these lunches a lot, and so all she gets to hear about is oh my pacemaker's not working, oh my blood pressure, and all my canes not
every
working.
single Wednesday.
So,
So she's very well versed in getting old, like topics of getting old, valuing life, and end of life. things.
so can you
crazy.
tell us like an example of how one of your approaches to one of these people are? Like you're like, hey, how's your pacemaker today? Or something like that? Is that how you open up?
Well, usually I let them talk first, and then I kind of like get in on it, and then like we're all talking then, and then it's kind of like normal then.
She's just dynamic, you know. She
I'm a
doesn't
people
have
I can
any.
tell, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no like jiu-jitsu. There's no given game plan. You just kind of just go with the
Yeah.
flow, and she's just really good at holding conversations, but not talking like a child. She talks like a little young adult.
Yeah, I can
Tiny adult.
see that, yeah.
Yeah. So by the time we get up and check on her at the bar and talk to these, they're like, "Is she bothering?" And they're like, "Oh no." They're like, "What an amazing little girl you have." You know, it's like, what a little gift.
Yeah.
So why don't we just let her be and we let her talk to whoever she wants.
That's
And
awesome.
we keep an eye on her from afar, but I think it's really helped her development. And
Yeah.
so
We let your dad steal the show from you today. We're gonna have the Megan podcast.
Yeah, seriously, we need both of you back on. You guys are
We're talking about making
amazing
slime.
guests.
Oh
Making
no!
slime and other arts and crafts. Yeah. By the way, she does have a slime business too.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, tell us more about that.
It's every third Saturday of the month for the farmers market, and 45% of the proceeds goes to Children's Hospital and my school building
Oh,
fund.
awesome.
That's
So-
amazing.
Yeah, she.
Yeah.
And it's funny at farmers. Have you ever been to farmers markets
Oh,
before?
yeah.
No, I haven't.
It's amazing array of arts and crafts and fresh food and produce and they just come on early Saturday morning and set up at like 5, 6 in the morning. It's a lot of work for these people.
Okay.
And, a lot of them, their booths, not much will happen during the day because they're selling things that are just, they're hoping it will sell good. And then Megan plops down her goofy little slime booth. Everybody flocks to this place.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
She's
then
just so... She's such a people person, and her face just says, "Come over here."
Yeah.
So she's
That's
making
awesome.
this gooey slime, and
yeah, I do what you call it? Like I make it in front of them so they can kind of see how you
the
do
process
it.
of making
Yes.
slime.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
And then I tell them like how like the ingredients are safe as long as you do these things, like wash your hands after, and like don't put your fingers in your mouth because that's not good. And yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
is it like the Nickelodeon type of slime? Is
No,
that-
that's the kind of slime where you touch it and it's like all stuck to your
they
hand.
call it
This is
gack.
yeah, but
How
this
do I
is
know that?
like a slime where you can like poke it, play with it, like
Oh, okay.
pop
That's
bubbles,
sad.
and it's like touchable.
Oh, okay.
So like you can just like stretch it and it won't stick to your hands as
Oh,
long
cool.
as you make it right.
It's basically the new fidget spinner. Okay?
Yeah,
Look at
kind
it
of.
that way. Slime it's something you play with. It takes your mind off stuff. It's just
Yeah.
interesting. Now, most parents in their households hate slime. It's
Because
it's a
their
mess.
kids make it all the time, and
a
yes, it can
terrible
be
mess.
so
Their-
messy.
The room can turn into a swamp or
Oh.
something.
My
Yeah.
room was like,
But
So
most
bad.
of our customers, oddly enough, were people of the older generation.
oh, they're like,
Buying
oh,
it
my
for their
grandkids
grandkids.
love
Ah.
slime.
So and of course, the older generation is who has all the money.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so they were not adverse to dropping money, and since it's a fundraising type thing, they were like, all right, by all means. So we walked
Right.
away with. We were there for just 30 minutes, and we had this fan of money, and I had to take a picture of it and put it on Facebook.
Right.
I'm like, man,
Oh, yeah,
did
my
you ever see it?
first-
I think
It was my
probably,
first-
I
Her
saw
and my
something
dad was
about
a lot
that.
of.
Yeah, I
That
saw
was
it.
our first
That's
day at the farmer's
awesome.
market. We
That's
killed
crazy.
it, man.
Yeah.
I need to come by there.
We
one
got
of
a
these
picture
days.
of my first $2. It was this grandmother. She was buying a slime for her grandchildren,
Okay.
and she got a 2-ounce slime. Oh no, not a 2-ounce, a 4-ounce slime for her grandchild who was about to turn 6.
Okay.
And she came back at the next one, and she said her grandkid loved it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So we're trying to, like, say. So I'm an entrepreneur. My wife is an entrepreneur, so we're trying to make our kids into entrepreneurs.
Nice.
Looks like you're doing
Looks
a good
like,
job,
looks
yeah.
like it already is.
Yeah, and the kids were always like so excited to see me make it. So I thought for the next farmers market, which I actually did already, to have a DIY table. So I bring all my supplies and have these little small bowls, and parents pay $2 for their kids to make slime, like right there.
That sounds like an amazing
Yeah, that's
idea.
a
It was
great
a blast.
business.
I,
You
put,
have
I just
some
put the
great
glue
business
in, so they
ideas.
wouldn't put
Charity,
like a
too.
whole bowl of glue,
Uh-huh.
and then they could put as much glitter as they want, like, and then they can put like coloring, little decor, just fun
Okay.
stuff that they
Cool.
like, because sometimes the slimes that I make, like if there's a boy and I have like 10 like girl slimes, they won't want it.
Right.
Okay.
But like in this way, they can customize it to the way that they like it.
Oh, that's
Definitely
that's
have a
cool.
business mind.
Do you have a name for your slime business?
Megan Slime.
Perfect.
Slime-atorium.
Or
Megan's
Slime-Torium
slimy
101.
All right, real quick before we wrap up, where can our listeners find you, Mike?
2 places, or maybe even 3. I do have a SmugMug account where I put all my pictures, and it's at MikeAndersonBJJ.com,
Okay.
which needs some terrible updating at the moment, but
Okay.
that's where a lot of my pictures reside. I'm on Facebook.
Yeah.
Just look up Mike Anderson. And then I do have my Jiu-Jitsu photography page. It's Mike Anderson Jiu-Jitsu Photographer is the
Okay.
name of that Facebook page,
Yeah.
which also needs to be updated.
All right.
And Instagram, which is
Instagram.
Mike_Anderson_BJJ.
All right, guys. Remember that Instagram. He doesn't have the following that he deserves, so we gotta get him on Instagram. So let's up that following for him. And Megan Slime. Are you advertising Megan Slime yet?
I have an Instagram account for it too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I have 2 accounts for Instagram. One of them is it's_slime_time. And then for my main account, it's Megan_Jiu-Jitsu.
Mike, Megan, is there anything you want to say to any potential listeners?
Absolutely. I just wanted to express my gratitude to the Brazilians for bringing Jiu-Jitsu to our country. It's an amazing art. And I'm so happy that Americans are embracing it the way they are. And as far as my photography is concerned, thank you everyone who's been following me and supporting my journey. I absolutely love what I do, and I hope to continue to do it for many years to come. So thank you for everything.
Megan, anything you want to add to that? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. It was great to have you. They came from Wisconsin all the way down here in Illinois to do this podcast. It wasn't for the Chicago Open. They came just for the Oss-So Crazy podcast. All right. That's it for episode 3.
And that's a wrap.